Hello everyone, my name is Corinthians Petit and I'll be doing my country profile report over obesity in Mexico. I want to begin with 36.9% of Mexico's adult population has received a diagnosis of obesity from a physician. And we all know that obesity leads to non-communicable diseases like hypertension, diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, and many more. But however, these conditions are exacerbated by obesity. And this means that obesity can make these conditions worse, make it harder to treat, and just overall, just not good. So we'll discuss the background of both Mexico's healthcare system, uh, obesity. We'll discuss the role of cultural, racial, socioeconomics onto obesity in Mexico. We'll discuss the barriers to reducing the disease and preventative measures and intervention. So, firstly, Mexico. It's the largest country in Latin America and is known for its richness in culture, beautiful people, and most of the Mexicans in Mexico identify as descendants of Native American and Spanish heritage. Public care is provided fully or partially by the federal government, just depending on your employment status. And to my right, we have a couple of the main sectors of the healthcare system in Mexico. So first we have Insabi, and it's for public employers to give to their employees, and this is the majority of where the health insurance comes from. Next, we have the Mexican Institute of Social Security, which is for private employers to give to their employees. And it has a large chunk of the Mexican population with about 57 million insured individuals. Then we have Ministry of Health, which we're all familiar with. And then we have social programs for elderly individuals who no longer have who are retired, don't have any money to constantly pay for insurance, um, no longer have any family around to take care of them, friends. Most of the time, these individuals need outside resources to come and help them take care of themselves if they're no longer able to on their own. Okay, on to the next. So, what is obesity? A lot of us already know what obesity is, but according to the CDC, obesity is a complex disease that occurs when an individual's weight is higher than what is safe in comparison to their height. So, in simpler terms, it's just when you have extra body mass, and really anyone who goes to the doctor or anything, if you have a body mass over 30, they're going to consider you as obese because it's considered unsafe for your height. Causes of obesity could be poor diet, lack of exercise, sedentary lifestyle, which includes laying down for most of the day, sitting down for most of the day, not doing day to day necessities for your metabolism. You don't have to run on the track or climb upstairs every day to not become obese. There's things like people on bed rest for absolutely no reason, and that can cause obesity. You have to get up and move around. Medications can cause obesity. Health conditions can cause obesity. So, causes of obesity can be poor diet, lack of exercise, sedentary lifestyle, like sitting down for long periods of time, laying down for long periods of time for more than 50% of your day. We have medications that can cause obesity and health conditions. And it's important to acknowledge the stigma that's against obesity because it's not a very positive one. Um, Obesity can be caused by variables that individuals have no control over, and people have a negative stigma over for obesity because it can lead to morbidities like um, heart disease and even death. So, um, I'm sorry about that. There are things like genetics, um, like we said, medications like antidepressants, birth control, steroids that can cause uncontrollable weight gain, and lead to a lot of fluid retention depending on what you're taking. There's health conditions like Cushing's disease, and that can lead to obesity because of the uncontrollable weight gain. Here I have two visuals that kind of highlight obesity prevalence within adults and children in the year of 2022 for adults and the year 2021 for children. So for the adults, we see that the adults are still at about 36% obesity. Men are much less than women, are probably just right above 30%, and women are right at 40%. So you can see the difference between the two. For children, they're at right about 18% obese in 2021. And you can see that the boys are they have a higher prevalence in obesity than girls, which is interesting because it's the opposite for adults in 2022. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so socioeconomic, culture, and race. Socioeconomic's role on obesity typically revolves around the factor different ethnic groups like indigenous populations. They often experience higher levels of poverty, um, and they're put in marginalized populations in the community. In urban areas, there's high availability of fast, unprocessed foods that are close in proximity to residents, and this will lead to a higher consumption because foods are low cost and easily accessible. And let me return back to the first one about indigenous populations. These populations are they experience high level of poverty, meaning they they try to get to foods that access foods that are not high in cost. A lot of vegetables, a lot of just pure natural foods that are unprocessed often cost more money when you buy a lot at one time. So on to the next. Mexico has an opsogenic retail food environment, which relates to the first 2 points, meaning that a lot of the food is processed. When you think of um, chains, food chains, all of that, and what's close and what's persistent around the area, the cultural role that obesity plays, um, or that can link to obesity, is that there are cultural factors, including certain traditional meals that are probably not the best in nutrition, with high unhealthy amounts of sugar and fats. Mexico, in the past 40 years, the diet has transitioned from trans traditional natural based foods to a more westernized based diet that includes a lot of processed foods, um, because we have a lot of popular fast food restaurants and a lot of chains that are just probably not ideal. Not to put my own opinion. Okay, moving on. uh Education. Individuals with lower levels of education are more likely to become obese, and this is because education plays a very big role when it comes to health literacy. And lifestyle changes are implemented when one gains knowledge about wellness and nutrition and how to keep themselves healthy. National Agreement for Nutrition Health, um, the Spanish abbreviation ANSA, is a program created by the Ministry of Health to promote development of life skills. Give people who are not enlightened on ways to be nutritional and to keep a healthy lifestyle. ANSA also provides this is a very long title. This is the whole thing. General guidelines for the sale and distribution and prepared and processed food and drink in school within the national education system. So they try to go beyond Mexico and try to establish some guidelines for children all over the world to be healthy at school when they're away from home, and making sure that they're able to continue to be nutritious, and adults around them that take care of other adults children while they're away. Okay, moving on. So barriers to the progression of lessening obesity. There's lifestyle changes. um, specifically highlighted after COVID-19. So a lot of individuals admit to dietary changes and more frequent meals. And this is a result of COVID-19. So the result of staying at home more often, not being able to go out, the boredom just causes a lot of people to just eat, even if they're not hungry. There's a decrease in physical activity. Activity decreased 26% down during the lockdown. So just imagine after the lockdown, everyone's in the habit of not really doing anything because everything is they're used to everything being closed, or just not really wanting to. It just decreased productivity. Sleep patterns, 45% of parents sleep more, patients sleep more, I'm sorry. There's actually a study, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but it just kind of highlights the fact that a lot of people started napping throughout the day and going to sleep way later than they should. And this allowed them to stay up longer and eat more meals throughout the day that they would normally not do if we didn't have a lockdown. And these habits they kind of spill into after COVID-19. So here's another visual, and I really just want to point out the perception of change of lifestyle through the lockdown in children. 76% of the children, these questions were given to the students to kind of with the permission of their parents. Students were able to kind of give their own answers for these surveys. The children's perceptions about weight changes. 45% of these kids they think that they've gained a lot of weight, and then children's perception of lifestyle changes. A lot of them have routine changes, but 21% have feeding changes, meaning that they um, either eat less or eat too much. And there's a higher percentage of individuals in general, increasing their meal intake throughout the day after COVID-19. And this could just be not so here are ways to improve obesity in Mexico. We have an idea of restricting the marketing of unhealthy foods to the population. So making it so not marketing it so much, not advertising it, not so many commercials about fast food, not so many billboards about fast food. Let's promote healthy diets. And then we have educational programs that enlighten populations, specifically children, about the importance of nutrition. And we see in a couple slides before, ANSA kind of giving out, guidelines, Ministry of Health giving out, some suggestions for people who do not already know these nutritional facts to help you keep your body healthy. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for listening and hope you have a great day.